What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Thing Goes back again with another Invincible video, and today I want to be going over the Invincible Season 1 story possibilities. Now, the Invincible Amazon Animated Series has a very similar layout to Amazon's previous superhero-focused series, The Boys, where it has an 8-episode structure per season, with each episode being about an hour long. Now, if The Boys is any indication, a lot can be told in that time. Hell, even a greater example would be Netflix's Castlevania, which is also a mature-themed animation with the first season that only has 4 episodes, and each of them is less than 30 minutes, so it goes without saying that if you know what to do with your time, you can do a lot with it. But it also bears the question as, what do you think is going to be done with the time that they have with the 8 hours Invincible is going to have for each of their seasons? So I wanted to be discussing what I think the first season of the show will revolve around, and honestly what I think would be the smartest route for them to take. In my opinion, they should go with issues 1 through 12. That would be a slam dunk. Through these first 12 issues, you could establish the characters and their roles, introduce viewers to the world and rules of Invincible, and build the tension and set the stakes for what's to come, with the cliffhanger ending that will hook viewers and have them coming back begging for more. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't read the comics yet and watching this video. I'm going to be going over some of the details of what happens in the first 12 issues of Invincible. Here we get to see Mark Grayson first discover his powers in his day-to-day life at home with his family and at school. By the way, his school is named Reginald Vale Johnson High School after the famous actor. Hell, even the principal looks just like a comic book version of him. I'm guessing Robert Kirkman was probably a big fan of Family Matters. Who wasn't? Anyway, at home, we get to see Mark's relationship with his family, and everything seems to be a normal, healthy environment. Well, minus his dad flying in at the speed of sound right before they eat dinner and leaving out to solve a problem and coming back right in time to finish. Mark's mom being a good stay-at-home mom, washing their superhero uniforms, making them dinner, and keeping the house in order. Omni-Man, when he's not out saving the day, he acts as a science fiction author, writing stories about the actual adventures that he goes on in space and sometimes different dimensions and planets. So he always has plenty of material to pull from, and he makes sure that they're well funded, for their lifestyle. At school, we get to see Mark kicking it with his best friend, William. Now, William is goofy and playful, but you can tell he's loyal and a good friend. Him and Mark have been best friends since grade school. On the hero side of things, you get to see Mark meet up with a group of young heroes like himself called the Teen Team. This group consists of 4 members. We have Robot, the leader, Rexplode, Adam Eve, and Duplicate. Love that name, by the way. He helps them a few times to fight a villain or two, including an alien invasion they fight off called the Flaxians, who play a much bigger role later on in the story. Not long after meeting them, Mark finds out that Adam Eve actually goes to the same school as him. So they start hanging out with each other, and they team up more than a few times without the rest of the teen team, slowly building up their relationship. We also start to learn a little bit more about where Mark and his father comes from and their powers. They come from a planet called Viltrum and a race of aliens called the Viltrumites. Their whole origin is very reminiscent of the Saiyans in Dragon Ball Z or the Kryptonians in Superman. You'll soon find out that this lies the basis for a lot of the major developments that come in future seasons, if they, get future seasons. His father tells him a lot about their origins in issue number 2. We see a flashback of him telling Mark when he was still a child. We find out later that this is just an altered truth and that he actually keeps a lot of the major details about their race and their true motives to himself. We see Omni-Man also commit a brutal crime executing the Guardians of the Globe. He killed every member. They were like a parody of the Justice League, but he made quick work of them, all in an effort to get the Earth ready for Viltrumite takeover. This is part of the details that he held back from his son when he was explaining their origins. And it's a pretty big turn in the story, and nobody saw it coming. At least I didn't. But I love the story for it, and it takes it in an interesting direction that I wasn't expecting at all. When Mark finds out what his father has done, it leads to both of them having a major fight that's brutal and levels part of the city and takes place over different parts of the world, leaves Mark beaten to near death by his own father, and Omni-Man just flies off into space and leaves his son, his wife, and the entire planet with tears falling from his face. This is how issue 12 ends, and I think it would also be a perfect end for season 1. Now you can't tell me you won't be ready to come back for season 2 after watching that. Now with this first season, you can slowly introduce people to it. You won't just be throwing them into it, because it'll be set up as more of a monster of the week type thing, where you'll have Mark Grayson just fighting different villain after villain. Some of them just super simple. They might do more later on, but you can that's how you can slowly weave in all the characters and the villains and stuff like that. Just having more like a monster of the week type thing. Him fighting this villain on one episode or fighting this villain on another episode. He usually doesn't put up that much of a fight with the guys that he fights. Like he beats them like super quick anyway, but it'll still be easy to like do that in the episode structure that they have. Just have him just beat them up in this episode, or at the beginning of this episode, at the end of that episode. Just making it seem more simple, more like he's getting used to the whole hero thing, like it's not really a problem for him. And then just boom, just throw that huge cliffhanger and that huge surprise and switch in the story like right towards the end. So it'll just let people know, like, you thought this story was going to be simple, you thought it was going to be a little hero story and it was going to be like this, but no, this story has way more to offer than you thought. Now in a follow-up video, I'm going to be talking about the Viltrumites and the whole Viltrumite Empire, giving more details about like their whole process and what they do when they're taking over planets. They have like this whole system set up, and I made a video like that on my previous channel, but I'm going to just redo it with more details and make sure it's a whole lot better this time, so you can understand all the context of what's really going on in the story, because I kind of brushed through it here. But yeah, it's a lot that goes into this story, and if they do it right, they can really set up a lot of stuff that they can explain in further seasons. So yeah, man, really hope you enjoyed this video of me just giving you guys what I think would be like the groundwork for season 1, how they can lay it out, what they can put in it. I'm pretty sure I missed a few things here and there, but I said all the important stuff. And yeah, I can't wait to work on this next video with you guys. Let me know if you like this video, and if you got anything you want to add, just add it in the comments. I hope you're having a good day, night, wherever you are. This has been Thingos. I'm saying peace.